One of the most important part in investment is looking at our future, acknowledging the future and being very innovative at the present so that we take care of our tomorrow when we will not be generating the active income. This is what we normally call retirement investing or planning for retirement. Retirement in general is withdrawal from occupation, withdrawal from what you are actively doing, either because you have attained a certain legal age, locally of 60 years, or you have been retired, withdrawn from your occupation because of other reasons like disease. Retirement can also be partial retirement, where you withdraw yourself partially from your occupation in terms of hours or workload. For purposes of retirement planning, for persons of low income who are struggling to fit a budget, may include some informal ways to ensure a frugal living, which may include many options. In this video, we are looking at 4 ways such individuals can utilize at minimal cost to plan for retirement and can be used by any other person or any person to supplement their retirement earnings. Number 1 is trees. And in this case, I'm referring to commercial tree for timber. These type of trees take on average over 15 years to mature for harvesting. A good example is Melia volkensi. This is a species that suits dryland areas and it can also do well in any other part of it. It's a productive type of tree for timber production and matures in a period of between 15 to 18 years. And therefore, it can be suitable for many persons in the age gaps of up to 30 years. Even a person who is 30, 35 years can invest in this informal venture, and by age 55 or 50, they have a massive harvest that can translate into an investment. One important characteristic of retirement is the inability to generate active income. And in most cases, as anticipated, is that one should have accumulated enough of your active income so much that such amount when invested will be generating sufficient passive income that can sustain yourself. In this case of an example of a tree for timber, we are looking at a maturity at which we shall harvest the trees, sell off the timber, and the lump sum that we will have collected from that informal investment, we shall put it in an investment opportunity that will be generating income that we shall live on. We will ensure that investment or that vehicle protects the capital. The lump sum amount that we will put into that investment should not be wasted away or drawn down for purposes of covering our cost of living. Number 2, we shall invest in a vehicle that protects that amount against inflation and leaves or grows the money. And a good example with Melia volkensi, a name, if the cost of investment, a seedling will cost you 50 shillings, and maybe to prepare the land, you need 30 shillings. So in total, with an average of 100 shillings, you will have invested on a tree. That single tree would require minimal maintenance, only occasional pruning to ensure we get a trunk that is sizable enough for harvesting in 20 years. So in this case, we'll be looking at one tree giving us an average of 15 to 20,000 on harvest, because we will be looking at the timber itself. Then we have the offcuts, sawdust, and byproducts like firewood. So if one tree will give us 20,000 and at a cost of 100, and maybe occasionally for pruning and maintaining it, on average 2 years of pruning, we will require a goal or an amount, a goal set by the investor. For example, let's look at a person who has invested on 300 trees. 300 trees at a figure of 100 shillings per tree would translate to 30,000, which need not be done at once. We can invest 5,000, then another month 5,000, the following month 5,000 to accumulate the 300 trees. Now, these 300 trees, once they are mature, and we have given ourselves an average of 15 to 20,000 per tree on harvest. Let's look at the worst scenario of 15,000. 15,000 on 300 trees will give us a lump sum of 4.5 million. If you subject 4.5 million to a moderate investment return of 10%, we'll be talking of 450,000. 450,000, if you divide that amount by 12 months, then on average, we are talking of this person getting 40,000 shillings per month to live on retirement. Another option, number 2, is subsistence farming, where this subsistence farming in general is agricultural activity of either growing crops or rearing animals for food, in such that the total production, what has been produced, will barely leave enough for sale after consumption. Subsistence farming will lead to cost reduction in terms of food for the family. It will also weed out or generate value out of black tax if you engage brothers or siblings, those who are supporting, in engaging the activity of production at a price. In so doing, when you produce your crops, your own food, you will not only get healthy food for your family, you will have reduced black tax because you are engaging your relatives that you are supporting financially in that activity. You will also reduce your food budget, and the amount that you will have saved out of that, you will now increase the amount that you are saving or investing towards your retirement. Remember again, this cropping or the farming activities can also be integrated with our trees, the trees that we have planted, so that provides, as we weed the crops, as we plow for the planting, we will also be taking care of our trees as our long-term investment. Number 3 is a question of taxation. We have planted our trees and we are doing agricultural activity, but primarily for food production that engages to reduce our black tax. It gives us value out of black tax. It will also give us healthy food for the family. And the law provides that if you are consuming over 75% or up to 75% of what you are producing agriculturally, then that income you are getting out of those activities is not eligible for tax purposes. So the 25% that is left, if we sell it in the market, that amount is not taxable. It's exempted from taxation, and therefore we will have generated enough either to plow back to take care of the costs of production of our farming activity, and if left, we will increase our saving to our investment towards investments for retirement planning. Number 4 is aggregation. Aggregation is a form of business venture in which you are collecting food supplies or surpluses from small-scale farmers, putting it together to build quantities that can be delivered into a market or retailable. That form of business, once we have done our trees, we have also engaged in subsistence farming. We have taken advantage of taxation because our cropping or our farming activities are purely for food production for our family and the extended family that we normally take care of, what we normally call the black tax. In this case of aggregation, we are buying from our neighbors, our neighboring small-scale farmers, putting those crops or the produce together to build up quantities that can give us economies of scale for the market. Remember, on the 25% that we have said remains, which is exempted from taxation, which barely means that you can engage in the farming activity as an aggregator and also a farmer, small farmer, build up and still use that one as a formal business, but take advantage of the tax incentives relating to 25% and generate revenue that you shall use to increase your savings towards your investments, that will also go towards improving plowed back to improve the agricultural activities that you are engaging in. And lastly but not least, number 5 is fruit tree integration. On the land, the same land where we have done our trees, we have our crops. We can also integrate fruit farming or fruit trees that will give us seasonal output, seasonal fruits that we can retail in the market and also can be used for consumption as part of subsistence farming, and all that will go towards either we are being frugal to reduce our food costs, which ends in increases our savings, available amounts for saving, for investment, or we are building also the activities enhance our commercial tree production, that in the long term, the amount that we invested in our trees, the 100 shillings that we put into planting the timber tree, our Amelia Walkenzi, we invested 100 shillings. This money or our investment will grow. The trees are growing height and increasing in girth, and at the end of the day, we are expecting to get our 15 to 20,000 per tree, which the lump sum shall be put into an investment that protects the capital. It will not only give us a monthly income as retirees to live on, but it will also be protected as an inheritance for the people, for the generation behind us. Thank you for watching.